I'm your brother Crumb, the master student, and you are now watching Crumb TV, Chicago.
You are now watching Crumb TV.
You're watching Crumb TV.
This is Prema Osset in Los Angeles, Leimert Park, and you are now watching Crumb TV.
You are watching Crumb TV.
We're watching Crumb TV.
You are now watching Crumb TV. So subscribe.
I am the Grand Sheikess, Unity Temple number 80, Moorish Science Temple of America, and you are watching Crumb TV.
Yo, this is that kid 179. You're now watching Crumb TV.
Crumb TV.
If you could, please repeat after me. Peace. Ashe. Islam. Namaste. Hotep. Grand Rising. Assalamu alaikum. Walaikum salam. Bom dia. Oseo. Halito. Wagwan. What up, though? Konnichiwa. Islam. Shalom. Jumbo. Whatever the greeting is in your respective language, I am your humble brother Crumb, here for another installation of Crumb TV. You already know what it is, family. This video is called, let me just go over it. Where am I at? Rise of the Moors interview. That's right, family. But before we get into all of that, I want to do what I do best, and that's put some respect in your name. And I want to acknowledge the first responders. Now, within the first 2 minutes, there are more than 50 first responders. So for the sake of time, we'll only do the first three. We call that the perfect trifecta. So number one of the perfect trifecta is our Black empowerment. He says, at L, wait, this is not M.O.I, laugh out loud, though I told, oh, okay, sorry. This is the real number one. No, that's L. That's the person I was talking to. But he says, oh, my bad, at Crumb TV, laugh out loud. I support both of y'all heavy and just got it confused. Keep coming with that heat. Shout out to M.O.I, absolutely, family. Shout out to him. Shout out to you. Shout out to all the family. Let me kind of do the real first responder, which is Kilo Kador Ali L. I hope I pronounced that name right. If I didn't, charge it to my mind, not my heart. I want to give you the respect that you deserve. Says, what's up, fam? I'm saying, what's up? I see you. I love you. I appreciate you. I'm honored to have you. Number two in the building of this perfect trifecta, it's OG. That's my uncle, y'all. I don't know if y'all know that or not, but yeah, that's I call him Unc. He says, let's get it. I'm saying, absolutely. I will do as you say. Number two in the building, we're going to move forward, but yeah, absolutely. What's up? Number three of this perfect trifecta is Jen Marty. Hi, M.O.I. My favorite teacher is Fire, Rise of the Moors. Oh boy, more. Okay, that's a little weird. Oh, I'm sorry. Hold up, this is the awkward one. I don't know why that's awkward. That doesn't. But yeah, okay, yeah, Jen. Let me go to another number two. Number three. Oh, it's not you. I could see now the confusion. Family, Crumb TV is a network. It's a network. It's not just me. It's others. So yeah, with that said, I'm working with several different channels and we all go live together on each other's platforms. So you may see me, you may see M.O.I, you never know. But with that said, let me go for the real number three. Jarmiko Sacco, he says, I'm ready tonight. Peace, Crumb. I'm saying peace back. I see you. I love you. I appreciate you. It's an honor to have you. Now, to whom it may concern, my brother's ready now. I didn't think he would be here, but if he wants to come on, he can. And I'm speaking like he can't hear me. But I was just going to give him a 30-minute intro Like, okay, family, you know, we're going to wait 30 minutes, wait for everybody to get into the room. I'll play a little intro, let you know who he is, yada, 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 promote his YouTube channel. And then he would come, dun, 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 you know, a lot of fanfare. But he is early, family. Don't be on time. Military. This is from the military. On time is late. Early is on time. Y'all better tap in. But yeah, with that said, family, we are in the first 5 minutes. And I just want to give him a intro that it is rightly for him, because we're speaking on military. He used to be a Marine. I find it to be very interesting because a part of the Marines, I saw a picture on your page. Maybe I'm wrong, but I saw a picture of when you used to be a Marine, and from the shores of Montezuma, to the shores of Tripoli. That whole thing goes back to Thomas Jefferson going to war with the Barbary pirates and using the Marines prior to getting congressional approval to go to war. And I think the laws changed after he did that. So I found that to be very interesting with the brother. But let me just go over some of these clips, if you would. He says, now, with that said, family, I want you guys to understand who I'm talking to. Good brother. I love this brother, family. Don't take that the wrong way. I give honors where honors is due. I give respect where respect is due. Y'all better put some respect on his name. Put some respect on his name. So with that said, let me pull up his YouTube channel and let you know where to go. Now, even though I'm going to play a lot of this stuff, I don't necessarily want to talk about the court cases or anything like that. If you want to know about those things, go to his YouTube channel. Very transparent. Go to his YouTube channel. Subscribe not now, but right now. So go over to his YouTube channel, subscribe over there. He's very transparent. Anything you want to know, he's going to tell it. Anything you want to know, he'll tell you. So, you know, we'll go over a little bit of that, but I got some other things, and maybe he got some other things as well. But just to let you know who I have and, you know, what he's been through, what he stood up against. You know, I was told growing up in the temple, Moors are fearless. So I just want to show you some stuff to let you know that you're dealing with a Moor who is fearless. Let me find this particular one. I wanted to show you this one. This was the first video I ever saw him in. And when I saw this video, I was like, no, that's not it. They're saying it's 10 minutes and 7 seconds because I can only do a 10-minute clip. I thought I narrowed it down. I'm going to play this other video while I go and narrow that video to less than 10 minutes. So like 10 minutes and 7 seconds. But give me just a second. All right. So here is a couple of clips.
Confusion in the courtroom today as the suspects from this weekend's standoff in Wakefield were arraigned on a list of gun charges. Some suspects interrupted the judge repeatedly. Others refused to say anything at all. WBZ's Christina Rex has the story.
High treason! High treason! High treason! We are the people. We the people.
Disruptions like these filled Malden District Court Tuesday during the arraignments of anti-government militia members accused of illegally carrying guns and thousands of rounds of ammunition, which prompted an hours-long shutdown of I-95 in Wakefield over the weekend.
We have 3 guns.
They're members of the group Rise of the Moors and claim they were on the way to militia training in Maine when they were stopped.
Let him represent himself.
Most of the 10 men charged chose to ditch the lawyer and represent themselves, pointing out that they don't identify as American citizens or with state law.
I am Will a living, breathing man. I'm not black, I'm not Asian, I'm not Hispanic, I'm not Latino American.
I'm a foreign national, okay? And as I understand it, this court has no jurisdiction over me.
Hundreds of family members and fellow Moors packed the courtroom in person and on Zoom, calling out to the judge several times mid-hearing.
So folks on Zoom, very important not to disrupt this court.
Those arraigned included group leader Jamal Latimer, whose father watched from the gallery as his son refused to cooperate with the judge.
Now we're sitting wise us, but I cannot be charged with these things. I don't need a dangerous hearing either. I should be released today.
One member still refuses to identify himself and another was taken from the courtroom when he wouldn't comply with his own arraignment.
Are you a Title III judge?
To tell me whatever it is that you feel.
If you continue to speak, understand you're in the act of committing treason. Are you a Title III judge? Yes or no?
7 men were arraigned today before the court had to close. 2 more will be arraigned here tomorrow morning, and the majority will be back in this court on Friday for dangerousness hearings. In Malden, Christina Rex, WBC News.
It's more to it. No, that I wasn't trying to be funny when I said that. Here's another one, just to give you an idea who I'm about to interview. Tap in, family. Listen to this. And a lot of this stuff is trash. Don't believe the news. The news don't know what they talking about. A lot of this stuff a lot of this stuff is garbage, family. It's slander. It's confusion, and they're trying to trick you with media. Nothing new, right? But here's another one. Check this out and take it with a grain of salt, please.
Body cam video from state troopers shows how the incident in Wakefield July 3rd plays out. It was 1 a.m. when state police encountered nearly a dozen men on 95 who were heavily armed and wearing body armor. The self-proclaimed militia was traveling from Rhode Island to Maine for some type of training. None allegedly has any license to carry weapons. The incident led to a 9-hour standoff.
At that point, 3 of the individuals could be heard loading their rifles, and 8 of them jumped over the guardrail into the wood line.
Last night, the police chief in Wakefield revealed at a town council meeting how the SWAT team known as NEMLEC used a sonic cannon to help capture some of the suspects. The device, like the one seen here, essentially blasts a disconcerting noise.
NEMLEC deployed what's called an LRAD. An LRAD is a very high-pitched audible alarm, which basically disables somebody temporarily. So they deployed that and were able to successfully take the remaining 9 people into custody.
Today, 3 of the suspects were in court for a dangerousness hearing. The judge ordered they remain held without bail.
We're not anti-government. We're not anti-police. We're not sovereign citizens.
Meanwhile, the leader of the group, Jamal Bay, is wanted by Rhode Island authorities. He allegedly violated bail conditions from an arrest made last year in that state. And another suspect is also wanted in Rhode Island, Quinn Cumberlander, for allegedly providing false information when he tried to buy firearms in Warwick. All 10 of the suspects remain behind bars here in Massachusetts. Live in Medford, Sarah Conji, WCVB News.
A sonic, press 666 if you never heard of that. They pulled out a sonic blast? Family, the first time I seen a sonic blast was in the movie Hulk. There's your Hulk right there. They had to pull out a sonic blast. Family, press 666 if this is your first time hearing that they pulled out a sonic blaster. I never seen nothing like that except in the movies. Except in the movies. Wow. Unbelievable. There's more, family. No, I'm not being funny when I say there's more. I'm literally being all wise, right, exact. That was a sonic blast. I'm gonna delete that so I don't get confused. Or maybe I shouldn't delete it. There's one more.
And that uncooperation continued today from the start of this hearing. The defendants in the Rise of the Moor movement posted numerous objections, including the names listed on the court documents listing their charges. Now, the 3 men appearing in court today are among the 8 recently indicted on various state firearms charges. The men have refused lawyers and are defending themselves with arguments such as that they are descendants of a mythic Moroccan nation that once covered much of the planet, including America. Prosecutors played video of that standoff on Route 128, including body camera video, in which they say the men can be heard talking about designating one of themselves as a sniper and loading a round into a weapon.
Summarizes his review of the videos on Exhibit 3, including statements by Mr. Latimer, including if they start walking toward us, spread out, they're acting funny and they're moving funny. Where's your arm at? You're a sniper, so go get your sniper and go to the front of the van.
Now, during the first weekend of July, a trooper had spotted the men's vehicle pulled over on the side of Route 128 in Wakefield. The men were carrying rifles and wearing military-style clothing, but they claimed to be just passing through peacefully on their way from Rhode Island to Maine. State police shut down the highway, faced off with the men for hours until they eventually surrendered without incident. They've been locked up ever since. Today, the defendants submitted dozens of pieces of evidence in their own defense, including a printout of the Moroccan flag and a document entitled the Zodiac Constitution. The judge said he's going to need time to go over these mountains of new evidence, and he postponed the rest of the hearing until next week. Live in Woburn, David Bieniek, WCVB News Center 5.
I want to point out this. We got 15 minutes till I bring them on. I want to point out this. Every time you see our people stand up to these people, you know, oh, man got shot. They done shot Jamal. And this for me was one of the first times I saw one of my brothers stand up fearlessly, and they didn't get mowed down. I want to play this clip, and then, you know, without further ado, I'll bring the brother in. This is Dr. Francis Cress-Welsing.
If we don't see the war, we're in serious trouble. If we don't see the threat, we are in serious trouble. Down at the Black Caucus, they were giving all the statistics. 66% being born in single-family households.
The father of six.
White supremacy is saying, I'm taking away the conditions for enhancing black masculinity. I'm taking away the conditions through which you might produce soldiers on your side of the chessboard.
Get him out!
In addition, you watch more television than anybody else. I'm going to serve up to you men dressed as women and serve up laughingly. This is a serious war.
Crumb TV.
The brother not scared, family. He's not scared. He's not dumb. He's not one of these goofy rappers. All that goofy stuff y'all be talking about, that's not this. We dealing with an educated, fearless, I'm trying to think, put some respect on his name, just to build it up so when he comes in, you know who you dealing with. You're not dealing with no damn George Floyd. Remember, George Floyd, he was high on, I don't know, ethanol or something. 2 weeks before they killed George Floyd kicked in the door of a pregnant melanated sister, held her ass at gunpoint. I'm not writing for no George Floyd deserved everything he got. We're not talking about that. I mean, we're not talking about supporting one of these goofies. I'm not talking about, I don't know what you guys talking about. I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about none of that. And I just want to play one more thing before I let the brother in. It's 10. I got 10 minutes. I want to play. When I first went to his page, he has a lot of good stuff on his page. When I first went to his page, I saw this. I said, this brother's fearless. This brother is certified official. This is from his page. And let me put some respect on the page. If you go to his channel, he's an open book. Go subscribe. By the time this live is over, it better be at least 18,000. It better be at least 18,000. We got damn near 200 people watching right now. It better be 18,000. With that said, family, he's an open book. No secrets. All the secrets have been revealed. Whatever you want to know is on his page. But this is from his page, Rise of the Moors. I don't want to any conflict of interest because I did take it off his page. This is the last thing I want to show you, and then we can begin the interview.
So I got pulled over. They said I violated the highway. I don't know how you can violate the highway. It's kind of like an inanimate object. And then they said I failed to identify myself, and then I showed them my ID. I don't know how that works. And then I asked them to call the sheriff, and they said there's no sheriff in Connecticut, but you can clearly Google sheriff's department, and then they'll pop up. So they're lying already. And then the guy, he asked me for my date of birth, and I didn't give it to him because I said it's personal information. And then I asked him for his, and he wouldn't give it to me.
Teach, brother, teach.
And then I asked the lady if I committed a crime, and she said no. And then she called another guy to come. So I haven't committed a crime, but they called someone else. Now they're blocking me in. Like that.
This brother's fearless.
And then there's another
That
one.
stuff you saw was not the first rodeo.
Oh, he just moved up.
He's certified. He been through the fight. Go back to the Bible. David and Goliath. He already fought lions and bears. What are you talking about, David and Goliath? I fought lions before.
How you doing? All these bright lights are annoying. Let's see. Talk the law. I talk the law. They already know I'm exercising my rights. They don't care. That's the point. Like I said, Connecticut. My mom just called me. Hopefully everyone's still there. My mom will quit. What's that? Everybody still with me? Cool. Hold on.
He's walking through the fire in this one.
Yes?
He took his shoes off and he's walking over hot coal.
May I ask why?
Because I'm asking you to.
Am I suspected of committing a crime?
I'm sorry.
Am I suspected? Can you repeat yourself, please?
I'm sorry?
You said I haven't committed a crime, right?
You have now.
What's the crime?
Now, Jamal, please unlock the door.
May I ask you what the crime is?
I'll tell you all inside. Right now, you're being placed under arrest. Open up your vehicle.
For what? Aren't you supposed to tell me what I did?
Yes, you're placed under arrest for interfering.
Interfering with who?
In our investigation. State
what investigation?
We've told you enough, Jamal. Okay?
No, you haven't.
Jamal, enough.
You said, okay.
Vehicle,
can I ask you something?
We would like a peaceful resolution.
I am. Look, I'm peaceful. I'm being peaceful.
Unlock your vehicle.
For what?
Step out and talk to the trooper.
I'm talking to you. I'm talking to all of you. I'm under arrest for what?
Get him.
Interfering with who?
Our investigation.
What investigation?
That's enough. Unlock the vehicle, Jamal.
What investigation?
Breaking the window. Jamal.
This is my property.
Jamal, unlock the vehicle. We don't want to break any windows.
So why are you threatening me?
Could you please comply with us?
I am complying. I'm asking you, what am I being arrested for?
Enough. We've told you. Interfering.
Interfering with who?
Our investigation.
What investigation? What investigation?
This investigation.
What is this investigation?
Find out who you are.
I told my name is Jamal. I told you who I am.
Okay.
Get him.
No, thank you. I told you who I was.
Open the door and step out.
I told you who I am. I told you who I am.
Open the door, sir.
I'm telling everyone who I am. I'm Jamal.
Sir.
What investigation?
Open the door and please step out.
What investigation am I suspected to be involved in?
We can have a peaceful resolution.
This is a peaceful resolution. I'm by myself right now, and there's like a lot of you.
Because you're not opening the door. Okay, step out.
No, first of all, it was just her who pulled me over, and there was no investigation. Now all of a sudden there's an investigation.
He's all gas, no brakes.
Violate me and break my personal property.
We don't want to, sir.
Yeah, no, yes you do.
No, we do not.
You're gonna have to violate
I'm not
me.
refusing anything. So I will sit here unarmed, my hands, here's my one hand, here's my other hand on the phone, and I will sit here peacefully, and you will destroy my property.
We're not going to destroy your property.
Okay.
I don't understand why you have it that you continually, why can't you just cooperate?
Can you give me a copy of the Constitution, please?
Can you please just cooperate?
Well, when I served in the United States Marine Corps, I took an oath to support and defend the Constitution for the United States. So please, show me the Constitution.
Listen to me, sir.
I'm listening.
Comply with us.
I'm complying.
No reason to go this way.
Go what way?
Where you're going to be difficult for hours.
I'm not being difficult for hours.
This interaction
I could have already been on my way because I haven't violated anyone.
If you smart, you difficult.
No, thank you.
If you dumb, you good. You better focus.
Open up the doors.
I'm going to take a drink of my water.
Open up the doors.
Yeah. Ooh, I wish I had some water. I wish.
Oh,
what
can hear me.
Open the door.
I guess this is how they treat veterans, right?
Come on. That's a veteran. That man served and protected.
I'm not disrespecting
Put some respect
you at all.
on his name.
Have I asked you to do something?
What'd you ask me to do?
Open the door.
Open my... So you're telling me what to do with my property?
Come talk to us.
Okay. You can't tell me what to do with my property.
You're telling me what to do with my property?
Yes.
Do I go to your
Come
house
on.
and tell you what to do? No. Okay.
Step out of the vehicle, sir.
And you haven't served in the United States Marine Corps.
Okay? You're passively resisting on purpose to create.
I'm not resisting. No, I'm not creating anything. You said I violated someone or I'm in an investigation. I'm asking what investigation, and you're not telling me what. So I'm obviously not involved in it. A traffic stop is not an investigation.
Open the vehicle, sir.
No, thank you.
Open the vehicle, sir.
No, thank you. Here's my other hand, still up.
Yep. Okay, sir. Open the window.
My window is open.
Damn, Gina.
My seatbelt's closed.
Family. He didn't even flinch. He didn't flinch. He didn't blink.
My seatbelt's.
He didn't. I watched that video maybe 100 times. When the window shattered, he didn't flinch. He didn't blink. All right, so family, with that said, we got about 200 people right here in the room. I just want to put some respect on his name one more time. Go to Rise of the Moors. That's where that content is specifically from. Rise of the Moors is where that video and much, much more is at. Without further ado, family, I want to introduce, first, really quickly, within these 3 minutes, my co-host, the brother who, my good brother, M.O.I. Peace, M.O.I. How are you?
Peace and love, brother. Peace and love. Appreciate you adding me to the live, man. It's gonna be interesting.
I got 3 minutes till he comes on. Within the first minute or so, can you tell the family who you are, where we can find you at, and then I'll bring him in.
Yeah, for sure. What up, family? It's me, Misinformation, M.O.I. You already know, Crumb TV Network. We're taking over the entire internet. Check us out every Sunday, 7 o'clock. We tapping in, and I'm here to tap in with my boy Crumb. Let's get it.
All right, well, without further ado, I want to bring in the man of the hour, my brother, our brother, Jamal Bay. Peace and love, brother. How are you?
Peace. I'm good. How are y'all?
All is well. All is truly well. Before we get into it, I just want to put some respect in your name. Could you tell our family who you are and where we can find you at, please?
Yeah, my name's Jamal. You can find me on YouTube, Rise of the Moors. They had deleted it when they arrested us last July, but then I challenged YouTube, and then they put it back up. So you can find me on Rise of the Moors. You might have to go through all the BS first, as far as all the crap that they put up, because they control the algorithm. Or you can just find me on riseofthemoors.org, and then I have different videos from my YouTube channel there, so that way you can just go straight to my YouTube channel there. And on Instagram, official_Rise of the Moors.
Absolutely. Rise of the Moors. Put some respect on his name, family. I don't really have an agenda of anywhere in particular to go. I just kind of did a little whatever. I know a lot of the questions, even if I ask them, they're already on your page. I wanted to ask and just kind of put the ball in your court. Is there anything you wanted to speak about first and foremost?
Yeah, man. I mean, they lied about we already know they lie about everything. One, we're not anti-government. Clearly, we have, just like every other nation of people, we have the right to self-determination. We have the right to self-autonomy. We have the right to self-governance. And that's all we're arguing for, is the right to be respected as an independent nation. And in fact, we're trying to ensure that the Treaty of Peace and Friendship is respected between Moors and the United States. So everything that that they portray as far as us not recognizing the law and us being anti-government is actually them. We're actually trying to have peaceful relations. At least I am, and the people that associate with Rise of the Moors, at least we are trying to have peaceful relations with different individuals within the United States government and be recognized as a separate nation of people with the right to elect our own officials, with the right to have our own courts, with the right to have our own jails if necessary, with the right to have our own everything. So we're not anti-government whatsoever. We're actually trying to establish our own government. And when we were trying to go out to train as the Moorish militia, we were part of the official name was the interim special committee with the specific purposes of establishing a Moorish constitutional convention, and there was a few more words associated with that. So we were actually part of interim Moorish government that comprised of over 200 people. So we weren't just individuals doing things. It wasn't the Rise of the Moors militia. The Rise of the Moors is a separate nonprofit organization. We were part of the Moorish Constitutional Convention, which there's videos about that all over YouTube. And the second thing, any alleged firearms that I've ever owned in my entire life were purchased after passing a state and federal background check. So I have never been in any possession of any illegal firearms. In addition to that, there is a United States code. I think it's title. I can't remember. But it's I know subsection 96A, I think. If you just Google search peaceful journey laws, you'll see that you have the right to travel from one state to another with your arms. And I have a bunch of Second Amendment case law on the website. If you go to riseofthemoors.org, click on res judicata. It's a drop down. If you don't know what res judicata is, you can click on that in itself, and you'll read about what it is. Click on the drop down. I talk about Second Amendment and a bunch of other stuff. But there's a specific case from the federal courts that specified that the District of Columbia was trying to define a militia as one's only subject to state regulation, and the federal judge says that is too narrow of a definition, and that the District of Columbia was wrong. So, none of this stuff is made up. None of this stuff is quote unquote sovereign citizen rhetoric. None of this stuff is anti-government rhetoric or anti-police rhetoric. It's just the truth. And if I believe a lot of the people that follow this channel are pretty conscious as far as what the United States government has been doing to terrorize our people. If they look up the FBI counterintelligence program, you'll see under J. Edgar Hoover there's something called the Black Messiah Act, and the first thing that they want to prevent is a so-called black nationalist militia. So since they, obviously we're not black, but they see us as black people. They want to keep us in that dead status. They see us as, they related to the Mau in Kenya. The Mau was a revolutionary nationalist movement in Kenya to fight against the British, and it was the men that were armed to basically defend themselves against the terroristic acts of the British, and establish their own free national government. And a lot of the British had a lot of the females working for them, which when you go to any governmental office, you'll predominantly see female Asiatics working for these people. But the female Asiatics of Kenya were reporting to the warrior men in the field of what the British were doing to oppress them, and that's how they were able to win. And I bring that up because a lot of our women are good at finding information out on us. But what about when they're murdering us and they're planning to kill us and they're planning to assassinate us? Like, where's your help when it comes to that? But anyway, I don't want to make this a man versus women thing because it shouldn't be. And just like how the media is trying to make it a Moors versus them thing or Moors versus police thing, it shouldn't be any of that. What else did I want to address? Oh yeah, the warrant in Rhode Island. We were supposed to be, when we got arrested, that was in district court, Woburn District Court. They were trying to indict us, which they did in November, to Woburn Superior Court, and the prosecutor kept pushing back the court date. So if I would have been released, then it wouldn't have been a warrant for me in Rhode Island. And then once I was released from the Bill Ricker House of Corrections, they brought me to Dartmouth jail because they said I had a warrant for a speeding ticket in Dartmouth, Massachusetts. When I went to court there, they said that I was found not responsible for the speeding ticket, and then they transferred me to Rhode Island ACI. I was brought before the so-called judge, and I told him the only reason why I missed the court date was because I was arrested in Massachusetts. And then he said, "Oh, I'm going to appoint an attorney on you." I said, "Okay." And then the attorney said the same exact thing, and then they released me. And July 27th of last year, 2022. Yeah, so I was in jail for over a year. And during the incident, when I think I addressed this before, but and Trooper Ryan Casey, the guy that pulled us over. Well, he didn't pull us over. The guy that pulled up behind us, he stated on the record that he didn't see anyone outside of the vehicles when he got behind us. So this whole narrative of them saying, "Oh, 11 armed guys were just randomly on the highway," that was wrong, because they were trying to say that we were blocking the highway when we weren't. And I went over a lot of this stuff on my YouTube channel, as far as going over the word for word transcript record of what Trooper Ryan Casey said, as far as him. He said that he was stalling, which is what he said, which is unconstitutional. You can't unnecessarily prolong a stop. He said he was stalling to the point where they can get enough officers on the scene to logistically take control of us while also gathering information. That is called a de facto arrest, because if you don't have enough information to arrest me, then what are you calling more cops there to arrest me for? Right. So our Fourth Amendment right was already violated. The Supreme Judicial Court of Massachusetts already declared that knowledge of a firearm alone does not give rise to a probable cause under the Fourth Amendment. So there would have to be, oh, this guy has a gun and he's pointing it at people, or oh, this guy has a gun and he's threatening people, or this guy has a gun and he just hurt someone, or this guy has a gun and he just walked into a bank. There was no exigent circumstances to warrant any of the police behavior, and that was all documented. And even when they showed Trooper Ryan Casey's body cam footage, they showed me reaching out my hand to shake his hand, showing that I'm being peaceful here, right? So but this is just what they do. I served 4 years in the Marine Corps. I know military tactics. They're always the aggressor. This is just what they do. We're under hostile occupation, and that's just what it is. And it's kind of hard for people to see because we grew up in it. And sometimes when you grow up in something that's wrong, it seems okay and normal, and it's not. But if we look at any other nation of people, this type of behavior, this type of treatment does not get tolerated for too long.
That's facts.
Wow, totally agree. M.O.I, what do you think?
I just had a question for the brother as to how this some kind of way. How does this tie into the MST of A? And did you receive any support from the MST of A with this situation?
So I believe 2019, maybe around November, December, I went to one of there's different temples claiming to be temple number 1, but I went to the one that Jamal Bay claims to be the Supreme Grand Sheik of. And then when I went, I didn't know that they were trying to bring me to the Adept Chamber. I was invited by this sister from California. I believe she's temple number 70. So she invited me to their convention. Mm-hmm. So I went wearing a suit. But when we went there, first of all, the building was like in a corner store. Like that's you could tell that's what the building was. They're not at Prophet Noble Drew Ali's building, Unity Hall, 3140 Indiana Avenue. They're not there. That right now is European housing where you need a key card to even get in the building. So Prophet's building, the Moors don't even have ownership of it. And even on the historical plaque on Prophet Noble Drew Ali's building, it doesn't even mention him at all. It doesn't even mention anything Moorish. In fact, it says it used to be a Jewish social club. But anyway,
stop.
Wow.
So under Jamal Bay, I was invited by the sister, the Grand Sheikess from Temple 70, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, or 80. And when I got there, they were bringing people to the Adept Chamber. And one of the bigger guys with dreadlocks said, "Oh, I'm not bringing him to the Adept Chamber because he associates with Taj Tariq Bey." And that was essentially the end of that. So I wasn't able to get a charter just because I learned from Taj Tariq Bey, which doesn't make sense because in the Quran that Prophet Noble Drew Ali gave us, he said that there's enough charters for every state. So clearly people are playing, they're playing high school games of, well, I don't like that you talk to this guy, which doesn't make sense.
Wow.
So, and I think I seen one of the brothers when I was in jail had showed me a newspaper from the Final Call newspaper from the M.O.I, and they had wrote an article about us saying it wasn't a clash of arms, it was a clash of ideology or something like that. And some Moors did have a lot of good things to say, and they had, of course, some Grand Sheiks that had nothing but negative to say. Right. So it's always a mixture of things, especially when it comes to standing on your rights and doing what's right. Even if you look up the FBI ghetto informant program, which they also refer to as the Negro informant program, there was a so-called black woman that was basically talking down on Martin Luther King Jr. during that time. So we're always going to have people that essentially love their colonizer or love their slave master, however you want to call it, that love the oppression, which is what Malcolm X talked about. Be careful because the media will have you hating the oppressed and loving the oppressor. And that's the mental slavery that Prophet Noble Ali talked about. That's what we're dealing with today. So there's always a different or a split between, oh, they didn't do anything wrong, and oh, the Prophet didn't teach that. So there's always going to be that.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I appreciate you answering that. I just wanted to kind of put it on the record because I know there's a lot of association with the Moorish Science Temple, and a lot of people had no idea about Moor nothing until they kind of seen you guys in the media, and they quickly associated the Moorish Science Temple, Divine Movement, the Moorish Science Temple, out of Chicago. It all got lumped into kind of one situation, and I know you guys were moving strategically in a whole other way. I even know Moors personally that literally took their fez off because they didn't want to be associated with what you guys had going on because of the supposed negative connotation they had with it. So I just wanted to ask that question for all the Moors who were wondering. I know I'm a Moor was wondering, like, damn, I wonder why the Grand Major Temple didn't go send fucking sheiks and send
because they don't care. They don't care.
That's crazy.
They don't care.
I'm with you. Yeah.
A lot of people get whatever perceived benefit that they're getting from Rome, and they think that that's they think that they're doing the right thing because Rome is keeping them complacent, so they don't want to jeopardize what they have. Everyone has a mortgage, everyone has rent to pay, everyone has bills to pay. People don't want to jeopardize that for the name of their rights that they claim to want, or I don't know. People don't want to sacrifice anything. So that's what it is, so it's easier to condemn your brother when the odds are stacked against him. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot easier to do that than to say, you know what, I am wrong, or you know what, maybe my perspective is different, or you know what, maybe I don't know enough about the situation to actually condemn these brothers because everything that they said was a lie from the beginning. And multiple Moors have went on the court record to address these things, but people really don't care. It's easy to take your fez off. It's a lot harder to say, hey, this colonial occupational force that is stronger than me, that has the wheels of industry on lock, that has an entire military, entire paramilitary force in every city, in every state, you guys are wrong. It's hard to say that because then they smash in your window and then they come to your house and they kick in your door and they throw you in jail. That's what happens because, we're dealing with the Willie Lynch syndrome, the Willie Lynch letter. You take the biggest, blackest, strongest slave and you beat him within an inch of his life to put fear into all the other slaves. So when that brother took his fez off, that's all you're seeing. That's it.
Here.
Oh, I don't want to be a Moor, even though it's your bloodline. Oh, I'm going to take my fez off because I don't want to be associated with these brothers whose rights were violated. Like that doesn't even make sense. And then on the same note, people will say, oh yeah, we love Malcolm X. We love Brother Malcolm. But when you listen to what he said, yeah, we need a Mau here in America. The only brothers doing that are the ones talking about we need a militia. So, there's just a lot of hypocrisy, a lot of fear. And I get it. I definitely get it. But I'm afraid too. I know it doesn't seem like it, but when the cops were surrounding me and they blocked me in and they smashed my window, my heart was doing this, but it's like, it's either you live on your knees or you don't. And it's literally that simple. It's either you're going to stand for something or you're going to be a nigger slave. And that's it, and that's what Prophet Noble Ali meant when he said, money doesn't make a man. It's free national standards and principles that make a man in a nation. If you don't stand on principles and you don't stand on nothing, and then you're not a man. And it's just sad because our people are such a powerful people. We have the ability to change so much, but we're defeated. In our minds, we have this mindset of these terrorists can't be touched, or these terrorists are undefeatable, or these terrorists are omnipotent and they know what we're doing and they see everything. And a lot of people will, for some reason, think they're under FBI investigation. Like, oh, they're watching me. Like, bro, you're not doing nothing for them to watch. You know what I'm saying? So like, we have like a defeatist mentality. Even before, when I was telling Moors, hey, we need to just train, not attack nobody, not overthrow any government, just train to defend ourselves. They're saying, oh no, you brothers are going to get shot in the street. Oh no, they're going to send you to Guantanamo Bay. So our people have this mental slavery when it comes to, I'm not advocating violence. I'm not advocating to attack anybody. I'm saying defend ourselves and prevent things from happening. And our people they shake in their boots and then they claim to be upright, independent, and fearless. We got a lot of work to do, man.
It's a conundrum, brother. And there's another word that was put out in 1960s called psychoneurosis. And psychoneurosis is a mental condition that Black people have had with their encounter with foreigners. They think the way the foreigners think. They act how the foreigners. They even take on foreigners' ideology. So I think that the psychoneurosis mentality has definitely stifled our people from getting to that next level, along with other shit. Because I definitely feel you. I'm a veteran myself. I'm a retired Navy. So I definitely understand the tactics that even we were taught from boot camp, and even being around fellow trainees and buds, because I was a cook. So I cooked around Navy SEALs. I saw how they train. I saw their mentality. I understood what they would, they had goals and missions to go on, whatever the case was. I worked for the Admiral, so I got a chance to see a lot of shit that people didn't get to the chance to see. So I totally understand this enslaved or colonizers mentality. And when they were calling you guys a militia, and they were demonizing the fact that you guys were armed and training, I thought back to the founding of this fucking country. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Excuse my language, but I thought back to the founding of this country. Of the first army was called a militia. Like
because they were militia, yeah.
Right, they were a militia. Like each state to this day have its own militia. Each state has a right to assemble their own militia to protect it from invaders. So when they were calling you guys a militia, I was wondering if the family even knew what a militia was before it got demonized. And the fact that you guys have the right to bear arms. My question is, when you guys were, and it's not so much about the case, it's just the status, because we were taught, not we, me, I was taught about always understanding your status when you go before a court, especially different courts in different municipalities. How important is it, or was it, to understand your status going into a courtroom?
I mean, it was very important, because knowing the position you're in and knowing the position your opposition is in is very important. It's part of the art of war as well. So knowing who you are is definitely important in this plight that we're in as a people, because they're going to say crazy things about you. So if you don't know who you are, if you're not firm on your principles, then they're just going to walk all over you. And unfortunately, that happens for a lot of people. So the status is very important. Status is first your mental competency. That's what status truly is. And then beyond your mental capacity, it's your standing, meaning how you present that mental capacity. And then beyond that is the people to the left and right of you, which kind of shows the status of your nation now. So, there's different levels of status because there's degrees within everything. If we had more support from Moors, then things would have ended up a little different as far as our unnecessarily prolonged stay in jail. If more people were saying, hey, you know what, we are a nation. Hey, you know what, we do need self-defense. And people had more interest in that, then, they would have showed up, they would have petitioned to the governor and made major change like we actually can do. But just having that mental fortitude that was partially instilled in me in the Marines, I think that helped, and that's part of status, that mental competency. And as far as the militia is concerned, remember, militiamen are charged with arming themselves. When you join the Army, Navy, Air Force, National Guard, etc., they issue you a firearm. And so when you look up the federal laws and within the laws of Massachusetts, there are always references to two types of militia. One is the organized militia, and the second is the unorganized militia. The unorganized militia are the people, just the people generally, right? And that's why you have the right to bear arms, because when you talk about the founding of this nation, it was people that already possessed those arms. They weren't issued them. When you join a pre-existing militia such as the Navy, which the Marines is the Department of the Navy, they issue you an arm. So the status of a organized militia and unorganized militia are two different things. They're very distinct. One is the people themselves, which through the First Amendment can gather together, right? Peaceful gatherings and bear arms. That is one militia. And then the other militia is the organized states militia. But the people bearing arms themselves is what is supposed to keep tyrannical government in check. But when tyrannical government owns the minds of the people, then the people will never keep tyrannical government in check.
Wow.
Incredible. You said that had you had the proper support, that it would have been an even more a better outcome. It was a good outcome as far as I'm concerned. You're here with us.
Absolutely,
you're not being kidnapped.
By the
I'm
grace
just
of
humbled
God.
and honored. Yeah, absolutely. But had you had the support, because we know that we are many, then they would have done different. And I wanted to compare that to a different community, the Jewish community. What we see is, even in the scenarios where one of theirs may be wrong, they will back them. The creation of the ADL, the Anti-Defamation League, was created because they were protecting, and I can't say the word, but this dude was a rapist and a murderer, and they still backed him. It was unwavering support. We will deal with our own. We don't care if they're right or wrong. We're going to deal with them on our own, and we'll determine what happens to that person. And that's how nations operate.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And it's that simple.
So, being that you guys are not chartered under the MST of A, do you think that led to some of the lack of support because it see you guys as
no? It's just the minds of our people. They'd rather pay $10,000 for a Beyonce ticket than to unite under free national principles to establish their own anything. That's just the truth. They rather go to the club every Friday. They rather drink all day. They rather spend hours and hours and hours and hours and hours at the studio listening to the same beat over and over and over again to write some trash, and never actually change the conditions that they're in. It's more than just the MST of A. It's the will of the people, all of the people. Whether you're part of the MST of A or not, whether you're part of the NOI or not, whether you're a Hebrew Israelite or not, you should still have an interest in your freedom. So if you see people fighting for their freedom, guess what you do? You stand with them. Look at Che. What did he do? He wasn't just fighting for Cuba's freedom. Once they got their independence, where did he go? To South Africa. And guess what Fidel Castro did? He said, listen, I'm not going to order any of you Cubans to go to any other person's landmass to fight and die for them. But if you want, you can voluntarily go over to South Africa and help fight for those people. And the Cuban government didn't charge any African government anything. They said, all we want is to take our dead back home. And that's what they did. And that's how a lot of South American countries got their freedom. And that's the only way they got their freedom. They didn't get it through rap music. They didn't get it through rapping metal around a rock and saying, oh, I'm protected from this opal and I'm protected from this rose quartz. That's not how reality works, man. And it's very dangerous for people like me who actually believe in freedom and believe in a free national government and believe that my people have the right to all these things. It's very dangerous for people like me when my people are saying, oh, no, he's crazy. I'm going to go do what Master tells me to do, and then turn around and complain about what Master's telling them to do.
Facts.
M.O.I, unmute yourself, please. I think you were saying something, but you hit that mute button.
Oh no, I just politely agreeing with the brother because I seen a couple more in the chat had brought up that point, and want to make sure that everybody's able to speak and say their part. Cannon Land Moore said, "How much support did we give him?"
Who? Cannon Moore's?
Yeah. I wanted to.
Y'all.
I just want to take this moment to block Canaan Land Moores.
Don't
block him.
Don't block him.
Okay, real quick, M.O.I, didn't this guy attack you personally?
Personally, absolutely.
Yeah. See, hold on. Let's not talk about that. Let's talk about how.
All right.
I have several videos on my YouTube channel teaching people how to BZO a rifle. If you don't know what it is, look it up. Going over different SAPI plate levels, going over close quarters combat, how to defend yourself, how to train. So that way different pockets of people who want to learn this stuff can begin to defend themselves. So that way, if there's an event where, hey, Moors, this Asiatic so-called black woman or this Moorish woman is getting kicked out of her house for no reason, we need these militias from around the country to pull up. Right. Then now everybody has the same training, so now we can pull up and support each other and make sure that nobody's being murdered unconstitutionally, make sure that no one's constitutional rights are being violated, make sure no one's rights as an indigenous person is being violated. That's what's important. If we had that support, not just the oral, oh, the Moors didn't do anything, that's good, but where's the next step? Where's the action behind these brothers didn't do wrong and I'm going to show up and petition the government? These brothers didn't do wrong and I'm going to go make sure that this European governor releases them. That's the part that we're missing. We're missing the action part of the movement. That's what we're missing. And it takes unfortunately, we will, just like with me and Rami, I got distracted with the whole Rami thing before I was arrested, which I should never did. I should never disrespected the brother when I was calling him all types of names. I should never did that. I should have just stayed focused on, I'm going to continue to train people because this is what we actually need to get out of the situation that we're in. Because Moors are going to mimic what they see. If they see Moors only rapping, well, that's what they're going to do. If they see Moors bickering on social media, then, a lot of people stay away from the quote unquote movement because that's what they think it is, because we're not living by the principles of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. And anytime any of us gets distracted by the division, just because someone says something personal, we should be above that and say, you know what, you're still my brother. How are we going to defend ourselves when these Europeans decide to slaughter us? How are we going to defend ourselves when these Europeans decide to call us sovereign citizens and they throw another Moor in jail? How are we going to prevent that? That's what we need to talk about. And anyone not talking about that is simply part of the problem, because they don't want the solution, because they don't want self-accountability. They don't want it. And that's just the honest, ugly truth. And it doesn't matter who it is. It doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter what your background is. The same thing applies to me. That's why I took it upon myself to help train. I've trained several Moors how to enter a building and clear a building, just in case, if you go home one day and you think something's wrong and you think someone's holding your wife hostage on the inside, you can call your local militiamen that live up the street and say, hey, bro, help me clear this house because I can't rely on the police, because the federal.
No.
Oh, they clipped him, bro.
Bring him back. Bring him back. Bro. I was going to ask him about the whole sovereign citizen thing. He brought it up. He opened that door.
Yeah,
I'm going to walk through it. I want to talk about the sovereign citizen thing. Let's give him a moment. Just a little bit of technical difficulty. We're going to give him a moment. As soon as he comes back, we're going to give him the floor back. Until then, M.O.I, anything you want to say?
Yeah. Well, we know we have to be mindful of sovereign citizen, because you can't be both. You're either gonna be sovereign or you're gonna be a citizen. You can't be both sovereign and a citizen. It's a double entendre. And I just want to go on record by saying that there's no such thing as a sovereign citizen. And if you're sovereign, then you have to turn your water and your lights off and go find out on you got to go live out in nature and kind of do for yourself at that point, because you can't utilize. You can't try to be sovereign and utilizing the public works water and their light and washing your clothes in your washing machine and driving your car that's registered to the state. No, that's not how it works. At that point, you're just a flat out citizen. So there's no such thing as a sovereign citizen. Anything. It's a double entendre. That's something that the media has cooked up as clickbait to get folks to tap in. Hey, he back.
Yeah, okay. I'm sorry. What was the last thing you guys heard? Because I was getting a phone call and it just messed up the audio and everything.
I can't remember. We kind of went. You opened the door on a sovereign citizen thing. You came out publicly, and you said, "I am not a sovereign citizen." I remember you saying it. I remember the cops coming on. They did some press release. Sounded really goofy. Yeah. Oh, we have training dealing with sovereign citizens.
And then saying that this group is that.
And on that same news clip, they played you saying, "I'm not a sovereign citizen." Could you just talk about that for a little bit, please?
Yeah. So knowing about the FBI COINTELPRO and the Black Identity Extremist list, which they end up changing to racially motivated extremist list because the Congressional Black Caucus exposed them on that. I know that it's part of their military tactics. Even when you look at the Black Messiah Act, it talks about discrediting people like me in the media. So I already knew that they were going to use the same set of slanderous titles that they do to everybody, that they were going to group us in with that, because that's exactly what they do. That's just like every single nationalist movement that's defending against neo-colonial occupation. They call them terrorists. So I already knew that they were going to do exactly what they did. I already knew that. And, I even actually called the FBI during the stop to let them know that the Massachusetts state troopers were violating our rights. So I reported that, just so that way, there's a record from the FBI, so that way they can't say, "Oh, look, this guy." I mean, they've been investigating us since before that, because that's just what we're just oppressed, bro. That's just what it is. So I was saying those things to help clarify the record, because I already knew that they were going to do exactly what they did, because they have a history of doing it. So it was just a way to help tell the people that are looking for the truth that, hey, this is what the truth is.
Absolutely. 1,000,000%. The other thing I was going to ask, we talked about the sovereign citizens thing. That's not a thing. Moors today. Well, no, I don't want to go there either. I want to keep it positive. I did cut you off on an idea that you were sharing. Did you want to go back to that? Because I don't want to change the subject too much.
Well, my main thing is self-defense, especially if we're going to talk about a free national government. We have to be able to protect those officials. You know, let's say, just as an example, if we're going to say someone like Tariq Bey is going to be our sultan, well, then we need to protect that person. Even if it's not him, it doesn't matter who it is. Even if we elect Cujo to do it, even if we elect you to do it, it doesn't matter who we elect to be in that capacity. We need to be able to protect that person. That's just a fact of life. That's just a fact of nature. Every single creature does that. Every single nation does that. And that's my main concern. If we don't have that, then we're not going to go anywhere. You know, and it's very important that when you read the Black Messiah Act, the first thing they want to stop us from doing is that very thing, which means that's the first thing we should be doing. You know, all this talking, all this marching, all this education is good, but then to what extent? To what extent are we going on these social media platforms to say we're Moors and we're not Black? Okay, once we get past that stage, what do we do now? How do we defend ourselves? What are we doing now? You know, it's like we're not going to be able to change things if we just keep doing what we were doing as Negroes. You get what I'm saying? Like as far as my experience, so-called Black people would hit me up, hey, brother, let's build. And we go to each other's house. All we're doing is chilling and smoking and talking. Okay, how has that changed for Moors? All you did was you calling yourself a Moor now. You're still chilling and smoking. Like, what changed? Nothing. So we have to start thinking like that. And if we don't, we're going to be in the same messed up position that we've been in since Prophet Noble Drew Ali died. And it's all of our responsibility to defend our nation. It's all of us. It's not just, and I say a lot about rappers, but I never disrespected any Moorish rappers. I never disrespected anyone that does rap. My message has been we need less rappers and more militiamen. Why? Because we have too many rappers. That's not saying that rap is bad or the individuals that rap are bad. They're not bad people. We just need to be able to defend ourselves on a different level, because when you go to court, you're not rapping. When you go to work, you're not rapping. When you're teaching your children, you're not rapping. When you defend yourself against oppression, you're not rapping. So let's take it to the next level. And what I was talking about before my audio got cut. I have a lot of videos on my YouTube channel teaching Moors how to BZO their rifle, how to get different SAPI plate levels and the type of protection that you get, how to train as a unit, because that's very important. If someone's knocking in any one of your doors right now unconstitutionally, who are you going to call to protect you? If there's armed people ready to murder you, who are you going to call for help? Not a rapper. Does that mean rappers are bad? No, that doesn't mean rappers are bad. That means we need people to protect us, and it has to be us. That's all that means. And there's nothing wrong with that. So if we continue to be divisive amongst ourselves, as opposed to saying it is everybody's responsibility to defend the nation, then we're going to just continue to be divided and be in the very situation that we're in, and people are going to continue to avoid liability because they don't want responsibility, even though the fact that we're in this status, that we're in the state of oppression, is because we're not taking responsibility. So either way, we're responsible, and that's just what it is, man. It's very sad. All these different Moorish organizations who are doing great work, if we can't come together and support that work, then we're failing. If there's Moors claiming that they want to start the judicial branch, well, guess what we're going to need? We're going to need Moors who are armed to execute the warrants that the Moorish judges are issuing. If the Moorish judge says this individual, this foreigner on our land is violating our human rights, and here's a warrant to arrest you, to bring you to a Moorish court, who's going to execute that? Not a rapper. Not an individual who says, I'm going to wrap this copper around a metal rock. Not these individuals that's drug dealing, not these individuals that's killing each other. They're not going to do it. So who's going to do it? Likewise, when they issue warrants, who executes those warrants? Is it a rapper? Is it a person wrapping metal around a rock? No, it's someone with a gun. Someone who's trained with a gun. They're not using it. They're just saying, hey, bro.
You know what, though, bro? You know what? It's one thing that I brought up when I was in Virginia with Temple Number 14. And I think that the Sheik at the time, Brother Kenny L, was in agreement to some degree that our muftis should be armed, but not only armed, they should be trained. And I think one of the brothers actually would want to incorporate a mufti training between Temple 14, Temple number 9, and of course, everybody's on their own sheet of music, or whatever the case was. But the point is, I thought that was very important for these muftis to be armed, licensed, armed, and trained.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? If we got our sheiks, our sheikas, our Moabite women, everybody, our children are there on Sundays. You know, it need to be an armed guard. We never know.
What's stopping the Dylan Roof from going in there and murdering those Moors? What's stopping that? Nothing. It's not a rap.
Exactly.
Not. Well, the universe is mental and Allah's protecting me. That's not. No. Allah said protect yourself. Allah gave you the authority to protect yourself. Okay, my God said I have to do this, so you can't tell me otherwise.
Right.
That's what Allah is protecting you with, the authority to defend yourself. And if those Moors don't know how to do that, well, guess what? They can go to riseofthemoors.org and learn how to train. And you'll see videos of me teaching Moors how to buddy rush and what a buddy rush is and what it means and how that's to, advance ground. Like, all of this stuff is very important, especially if we believe this is our land. How are we going to defend it? How are we going to quote unquote take it back? Like, not through rap. It's not happening.
We're an hour in. Now, remember, we had a half an hour intro. He's only been up here for 30 minutes, family. But I have rules. We have to have some type of decorum.
Yeah.
So you already know I only do 1 hour. And I've met that point for all of you. And I don't charge. This is all for free. The brother's doing it for free as well. So with that said, family, he said he's going to do it for an hour. I was going to cut the live, do a private whatever like that. If you want us to continue, the conversation, you're going to have to hit that like button, family. I know a lot of you are in here and, you're kind of here to detract. But if the ones who are in here because they want more, because they appreciate it, this is the type of stuff you like, you're going to have to hit the like button. Now, we're on 1, 2, 3, 4. We're like on 10 platforms right now. So with that said, whatever platform you're on, you got to hit the like button there. You got to hit that button, family. If you want, y'all know the rules. We give you 1 hour. We've given you that 1 hour. We've given you the 1 hour. If you want more, then the way to get more is to hit that like button. This is no negotiation. You got an hour from us. What more do you want? But with that said, also, I was going to ask you, family, not only to hit the like button in whatever platform that you're watching from, whether that be on M.O.I's channel, whether that be here or anywhere else. Also, a part of the contingency upon us continuing this live instead of finishing the last half an hour out without you is that you go to Rise of the Moors and hit the subscribe button over there. You see, I'm subscribed. You got to go hit that subscribe button if you want us to continue. Hit the like button on whatever channel you're on, but make sure you hit subscribe on Rise of the Moors. I just want to put that out there really quickly now that I've said my piece. Brother, if you could, please continue. I'm sorry.
Yeah, whenever I get a phone call, it just ends everything, so I gotta cut it off. But I appreciate you not ending it on the hour. And for those who don't know who we are, we've been helping Moors. Well, we've been giving Moors information for educational purposes only for a long time, and through that, Moors have gotten cases dismissed, Moors have gotten out of jail, etc., etc., etc. Moors have been able to save their houses and things like that. And if we don't stand on these things, then nothing's going to change in this. It's that simple. The same capacity that we have to go out to these clubs every day or every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, the same capacity that we have to drink and smoke with each other, the same capacity that we have to go to the studio, the same capacity that we have to buy these crystals and buy this sea moss and make T-shirts is the same capacity that we have to be able to learn how to defend ourselves. That's it, bro. That's it. There's nothing stopping us from defending ourselves. Nothing, except for our own free will. That's it. And once we realize our capacity and our strength, then we'll be all right.
No, I definitely get that. So another question is, I haven't seen the channel just yet. I'm definitely gonna go check it out. Are you also offering anything to? Because I know I'm speaking for myself. My lady is also retired military, and just I think 2 months ago we finally got our bug out kits together. We just read up on our ammunition and everything like that. We're going to buy some crossbows this weekend too. 'Cause I'm like, damn, I don't know how to make ammunition. Probably could learn
Yeah.
how to make ammunition, but we're going to buy crossbows this weekend, and we're all for being prepared and being ready. Is there a family readiness video that you were preparing also?
I mean, there's a video. I think I think it was on my old Instagrams that they deleted, but I did a home defense video in my pajamas in my kitchen.
Okay.
You know, and you know, Brother Moreno Bay had done several videos on bug out bags and what we need. Like all this information is already out there.
Bet.
You know, not just the information we did, but all Moors have to do is look it up. If you're interested in self defense, look up close quarters CQB, close quarters combat. Look it up. Just look this stuff up. It's already out there. And you know, there's so much information that's out there, and is if we had a military mindset, we wouldn't be as afraid as we are, man. Our people have so much potential, so much strength, and we have the ability to come together, unite, and organize. We do. I see all this conscious stuff going on in New York. I see all this conscious stuff going on in Texas. I see all this conscious stuff going on in California. I see all these conscious events. Well, the same capacity we have to show up to these conscious events is the same capacity we can show up to train. It's not that hard. It's just what we have interest in. If our interest is only in rap, well, guess what? We're never gonna have a national defense force. It's that simple, and it's everybody's, every able-bodied male's responsibility to do so. Unless you have a mental illness or physical illness or disability, then you're exempt. Other than that, it's your responsibility. Because there's too many women and children out here and men out here crying out for help, suffering. Who do we call when the police are murdering us? Who do we call when the government's abusing us? Who do we call? And then when you look at the right to expatriation, if you're an abused member of your society, you have the right to expatriate. And if you expatriate, guess what you have to do? Form your own society, which is forming your own free national government. And there's copious amounts of cases from the United States Supreme Court on this. There's copious amounts of cases from the different federal courts dealing with nationality and citizenship. Like all of this stuff is already out there as far as taking our place amongst the affairs of men. It's just if Moors are too afraid and unwilling to take responsibility and too stuck in the quote unquote church mentality, which they're really not stuck in a church mentality because all the religious books tell you to defend yourself, well, then we're just going to be stuck. It's that simple.
Damn. That was one of the main attractors, I think, of the Moorish Science Temple when I up in Norfolk, was the fact that I saw so many brothers and sisters was citing law cases and proper persona and jurisdiction. I'm like, I've never heard of this shit before. At this point, I had did masonry, I had did all this the other programs, organizations. Like, I've never heard of this shit. And it's like, brother, what's your nationality? I'm like, what the fuck is it? I never heard of that word.
Yeah.
I know what a nation is, but nationality. So the excitement of understanding nationality and divine law and understanding these terms of art and court, and all of a sudden, those who were teaching that kind of stuff got pushed away out of the temple. Yeah. And it became Sunday school, and it became just church.
Yep. And when
you stop hearing about it.
Yep. And when you look at the FBI counterintelligence program, there's a report that they wrote regarding the Nation of Islam. They said as long as Elijah Muhammad keeps it a church organization and stays away from black militant nationalism, then we'll keep him in charge.
Wow. Yeah.
And remember, hold on, and just for the record, I'm not shitting on the Nation of Islam, because the Nation of Islam does a lot of work to get our brothers and sisters from stop gang banging, stop doing drugs, and stop stripping. They do a lot of work. So this is not to discredit them, but we have to consider those things. You get what I'm saying? And we have to really see what's really going to make a change in our lives. It's that simple. And Moors have a lot more work to do, because we're not in our people's face like the Nation of Islam, and that's why they're so successful, because they're in our people's face. Here's the bean pie. Here's the newspaper. Where are the Moors at? Hiding in the church.
I want to applaud you for taking the high road, and I want to echo that sentiment. Family, we are not here to attack, divide, cause confusion, or anything of that. So I just again want to give the brother his flowers, because he's not seeking any of those things. This is about unity. This is about solidarity. This is about our civic duty. I
listen, man. Brother Rami Salam El said awful things about me. I said awful things about him. But when it comes down to it, if this foreigner's kicking in his door and I have the capacity to help with a few other Moors, I would show up to help, because that's what this movement is supposed to be about. Any other Moors that said anything about me, if your family needs help and I'm in the capacity to help, I'm gonna help, because that's what it's about, bro.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
I want to apologize to everybody within this movement for all the division that I helped cause by participating in the slander campaign when other Moors slandered my name and things like that. So I want to apologize to everyone for that, and for the ongoing misconception of disunity. Again, I never said anything negative about any Moorish rapper. My main point is, like I said before, is we need less of that and more people defending themselves. And if you want to learn how to defend yourself, you can go to Rise of the Moors and learn. RiseOfTheMoors.org. There's videos on the Second Amendment, and in that section on my website, there's videos on how to defend yourself. You're not going to be able to go to any Moorish American website or social media to learn these things. So learn. I don't want to be in charge of you. You be in charge of yourself. And then you with the Moors in your area, you form your own militia. And if one Moorish militia up the street says, "Hey, bro, we need help," then you go support them. It's not that complicated. It's not hard. Even when I was on July 3rd, 2021 or whatever, on Massachusetts Highway, the New Hampshire State Police was there. That's an entirely separate jurisdiction, but they're two different paramilitary forces that help each other. Why can't we do the same thing? We can. If we lived by the first principle of love, then it wouldn't matter if my brother's saying something crazy about me. That don't matter. You didn't hurt me. You didn't physically assault me, and you definitely ain't gonna do it. So all right, cool. Let's talk about how we're going to defend each other's families now. How are your children going to be protected? How are my children going to be protected? Well, let's talk about that. And if we don't train, it's never going to happen. And that's just the truth.
And listen, I wanted to ask you a broader question when it comes to unity.
Yeah.
Two of my neighbors are one is ex-Marine, one is I don't know what his affiliation is. But I talk to them often. I'm in their garage. I'm talking to them. They are armed to the fucking nines. And it's like, but they're Caucasian. Like, if you ever need any help, let us know. But they're ready to go. So what are your thoughts on a collective collaboration across race barrier? Because when it go down to it, brother, it's really us versus them.
That's fine.
The government. Like, it's not about, I mean, yeah, the Moors, but.
Well, I don't believe that. And this is the reason why I say that. Because when I was in jail, pale-skinned European guards of the jail said, "Hey, bro, I might have to join the militia because they're about to start forcing these vaccinations on us." Pale-skinned European man. I said, "Yep, join." And when you look at the United States separation from the British colonies, Moors fought in the army to help fight for these people's freedom.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's not about skin color. It's good versus evil. Period. It doesn't matter what you look like. If you're oppressing people, you're evil. Period. In fact, my wife sent me a picture of this European man with a Kevlar vest on, a Kevlar helmet on, holding the Moorish flag saying "Free the Moors." Not one Moorish American showed up to do that. Very same thing. So I'd rather stand next to him than a Moorish rapper who's not going to stand next to me when it's time to defend myself.
Yeah.
So it's not about skin tone. It's about allegiance. Do you have allegiance to all that is good, or do you have allegiance to all that is bad? That simple. It's that simple.
Somebody in the comments was asking it, and they're really hammering it in. So I want to get your thoughts. Have you ever heard of the Not Effing Around Committee?
Yeah, the NFAC, the Not Effing Around Coalition, and their brothers in jail right now for nothing.
For nothing.
Yeah, for nothing. And that's just what happens. And this is not to disrespect any of the brothers and sisters there, but the same amount of people that were showing up armed should have been the same amount of people showing up to this federal court case. But that's the problem with our people. That's the problem. They're not willing to. And I'm not advocating for any type of violence at all. There should have been. And again, it's not beneficial to talk about shoulda, coulda, wouldas. But moving forward, how we should move forward is anytime one of us gets taken, we need to organize and go to the federal government and say, "Hey, this needs to end." Just like when the basketball player was taken by the Russian officials for 0.00000.000 negative grams of cannabis, the Russians said, "Oh yeah, we're seizing this opportunity to get one of ours released." And guess what the United States government did? They said, "Oh no, afford her consulate services." Isn't that what Moors are saying?
Wow.
Because of what? Diversity of citizenship? Isn't that what Moors are saying?
Yep.
So why aren't we mimicking what they do? Didn't the prophet say he's going to leave these Europeans here long enough for us to learn how to run government? Okay, so why aren't we doing what they're doing? When they get violated, guess what they do? They issue warrants and they arrest us. Okay, so when we get violated, what should we do?
Wow.
It's that simple. But since people aren't brave enough to talk about that, or maybe not, it may not even be brave enough. It may just be the mindset. Some of our people don't have that mindset. That's not what's being advocated for. It's just you become a Moor and you either go to the temple or you just talk on social media or you just rap and that's it. There's not an advocation for national defense. For some reason, I don't understand it. I don't get it. When every day I look on Facebook and Instagram and I see our people complaining about the mistreatment that we're suffering from, well, the word suffering means to unnecessarily endure something. So we can change the conditions if we wanted to. The problem is we don't want to. So let's address the problem.
Wow.
Islam.
Because we can't say we love our children and then to allow them to grow up in this state of terrorism. We don't love our children. We only love ourselves. And to the point where, a lot of us are dealing with the escapist mentality. So we drink and smoke a lot. That's the reality is not going to change, bro. People say, oh, the universe is mental. Yeah, the universe is mental, and that's dangerous. Want to know why? Because you can justify something bad. All right, universe is mental. I'm going to smoke this weed. I'm going to put my crystal on the ledge. It's going to absorb this moon energy, and that's why I'm not being arrested. No, fool. You're not being arrested because you're staying home scared, oppressed. The oppressor wants you to not do nothing. That's why you're not being messed with. And the people, they'll do the mental gymnastics, the intellectual cowardice and say, oh, see, I'm living upright, independent, and that's why they're not messing with me. No, that's not why they're not messing with you, because you're not talking about anything of substance. You're not talking about militants. You're not talking about nationalism. You're just reciting rhetoric. That's what they don't want. They don't want black nationalists. Keyword nationalist. Black is not a nationality, which leads you to what? That's what they don't want, bro. And once all these veterans start waking up and they start realizing it's gonna be a problem. It's gonna be a problem, bro. I'm telling you.
Well, listen. In the words of a supposed Noble Drew Ali said, you're only gonna save about a handful. You're gonna have fingers left over. So from that, I take that we can't save everybody. Even with your sentiments of that war preparedness, I think that not only Moors but us collectively, we have this savior mentality. Either we're waiting on somebody to save us, or we feel like we got to save everybody.
Nah, look at the police department. If they go down, they got an orange button on their radio. You know who shows up when they press that button? The entire police force. That's who shows up to make sure that one of their own isn't being murdered. Why can't we do the same thing? There's enough Moors. I'm not talking about everybody. I'm not talking about the black people. They're doing their own thing. I'm talking about declared, nationalized, claim to be upright, independent, and fearless Moors. That's what I'm talking about. What are we gonna do? What are we and what are we doing? Because just saying we're Moors and not black is not enough. It's not. You think the police just say stop and then that's it, or do they? If you don't stop, then they go on to the next level.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, what are we really doing? You know what I'm saying? And like a police force, a police department is not thousands and thousands of people, bro.
No.
As an example, the Pawtucket Police Department is only 143 people, something like that. So if we had 143 Moors in the same city as a militia, well, then we could protect each other, bro. It's not that complicated. It's not hard. You know what I'm saying? Look, you've been in the military. Look how deadly a squad is. A squad is 4 people.
Yep, small, very small.
Right now, as a veteran, if I'm with 3 other Marines and we get to a fight, we're being charged federally because we're considered a dangerous weapon.
That's facts.
And that's only 4 people. That's 4 people.
Yep.
So what do we? And this is again, before I go into this point, remember, Prophet Noble Drew Ali said, "I'm a prophet and a general. Generals are in charge of what? Army." Secondly, our people have again this. The art of war is deception, right? Our people think, oh, these people have these direct energy laser beam weapons. They're just going to obliterate people off the planet. How come they didn't do that in Afghanistan? How come they didn't do that in Vietnam? How come they didn't do that in North Korea? How come they didn't do that in Iran? How come they didn't do that in Iraq? How come they didn't do that in Cuba? How come they got kicked out of all these places if they got all these direct energy laser beams and these little mosquitoes that's going to like, what are you talking about, bro? That's all fear. And then again, it's part of ancient military custom to get the natives of the land that you're trying to conquer addicted to drugs and alcohol to defeat their will to fight. A prime example of that is how they ended the entire civil rights era with what? Crack. So the same way Moors are addicted to drugs and alcohol, codeine, lean, weed, it don't matter. It's destroying your will to fight because you have a habit now. You got to focus on doing whatever it is that you're doing. So now you're not focused on, okay, let me spend this money to go to AR500armor.com and buy level 3 plus SAPI plates to protect myself. But you're going to claim your life matters. No, it don't.
Damn.
Your life don't matter if you're not willing to protect it. You know who lives matters? The police. Want to know why? You can't do shit to them without retaliation. I'm not advocating that you do. But if you do anything to one of them, guess what? The entire department, the adjacent municipal departments are going to help investigate what happened to put an end to it and find whoever who did it. Why can't we do the same thing? Why don't we do that?
With prejudice.
You know what I'm saying? And I remember talking to dudes in jail when they were talking about, how their rights were being violated by the judge. They kept saying, it is what it is, bro. I was like, since when? When it comes to quote unquote street shit, when a so-called Negro violates you, it's not it is what it is. It's get back gang. Where's the same energy? Where's it at?
Wow.
And you know what the so-called street thug killers were saying to me? Yeah, you're right. I know. No, let's eat these ramen noodles. You know what I mean? It's like, bro. And none of this is advocating for violence. None of this is advocating for none of that. It's self-defense. With self-defense alone, you can prevent a lot of shit. Just like you won't just walk up to a beehive and start slapping it around. Why?
Yeah, fuck you up.
Because they will fuck you up. Likewise, if you're armed and saying, hey, we're not hostile towards you, all you got to do is not be hostile towards us. And guess what's going to happen? Nothing. And July 3rd, 2021 proved that. We weren't hostile towards them. We were praying to God that they weren't hostile towards us, and by the grace of Allah, they weren't.
That was another thing I wanted to get your insight on, and I technically you kind of answered that question. I just want to put it in plain English. We see at so many, interactions with the police where it seems like they don't hesitate to draw the firearms, to shoot you down. I thought I saw a bird. Anything. And
he blinked and I was in fear of my life.
He blinked. But we saw with you, they say speak with an intelligent, well, not they, but according to the prophet, speak with an intelligent, receive a favorable reply. Yeah. You stood on your square, it was clear you were armed, and they didn't treat you like the average Negro, black and colored. Do you think, please?
Yeah, and it wasn't just me. There was 11 other or 10 other individuals that were there. So it wasn't just the fact that I was speaking. It was the, like Prophet Noble Drew Ali said, where there's unity, there is strength. Most of the interactions is just 20 of them and one unarmed person.
Yeah.
Right. And again, a deterrent. Again, bees are armed, and that is a deterrent. You can't just up on me and think nothing's gonna happen. That's how a bee thinks. I got my stinger, and if I got to use it and I die, then that's what it is. But best believe it's a deterrent. And like I said, by the grace of Allah alone, I'm alive. That's it, bro. That's it. I did what I did to the best of my ability. I tried to be as peaceful as I could. I tried to make sure that we got to go home, or at least got to go train and then go home, because that's what we were trying to do. But, it went how it went because of Allah, bro. Allah is going to put us through tests to see if we actually stand on the things that we've been professing to stand on. If you believe in a free national government, well, then prove it. If you believe in love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, well, then prove it with their actions, not just lip service. Anyone could just talk. That's why in the Quran it says a block of wood could point the way. A block of wood. I could put love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice on a block of wood, and that is 90% of what Moors are doing online. What are you doing boots on the ground? Where's the charity events at? Where's the donations to those in need? Where's all that energy that the Black Panthers had with feeding people? That's what Rising of Moors does. Look it up. Go to the homepage. It's right on the homepage.
Now, I want to add value to that part, because I made the same statement the other night about all the so-called Negro organizations, not just the Moorish Science Temple. This is when it comes to the Black Masons and Shriners. Okay, as it goes in the community, there's nothing really going on with none of these organizations they can speak of. The M.O.I does do a lot. Now, I don't M.O.I do a lot.
Yep.
Hebrew Israelite brothers and sisters, I'm not too familiar with their works, but that comment goes a long way. And I say that because I know in Northern Virginia, there's a spot called Baytown, something like that, Brother Crumb. I think it's called Baytown or something like that. But it's a small community of land that belonged to the Moorish Science Temple. I think the brothers in Philly are the ones that curating that piece. But I think we went there not me personally, but the temple went there a couple of times, man. It's like we got our own little fucking city.
Yeah.
It's abandoned. Nobody's there. Like it's abandoned. Like we can literally move our families here, nigga, and like run our own city.
Yeah,
like,
but you're gonna need security.
Right, true.
Which is what police do.
True. But the opportunities to start our own cities and municipalities are there. Why do you think that people have not taken advantage of that?
Because it takes real effort to make change. And people don't want to make that sacrifice. It's easy to go here and talk. It's easy. Just go on the phone, start talking shit. It's hard to plan an event to feed the community. It's hard to do that because you got to deal with people saying, "Oh, yeah, I'll show up," and then they don't show up. That's just it, bro. It's hard. It's easy to go to the studio and write a rhyme. That's easy, bro. You know what I'm saying? Our people don't want to do anything hard. They don't want to do anything that requires any type of effort to make change. They for some reason our people don't think that far ahead. Now, granted, it is true that a lot of us are in the state of poverty to the point where we can't think that far ahead. That is true. That's why when a lot of brothers and sisters go to jail, they become so creative because they're not burdened with the everyday struggle of life. They're fed and they have a place to sleep and they're warm and they got clothes. They become more creative. But there's a lot of people that aren't in those conditions that are deliberately not doing enough. That's the problem. The problem isn't evil men. The problem is good men doing nothing. That's the problem. And so that's why we're not seizing opportunities like that. And of course, there's a bunch of crap with, the European oppression and the mortgages and things like that and the peonage that they put us in. Yes, all of that applies. But if we came together and said, hey, this is what we're going to do all at once. We're going to take all these houses all at once. And there's going to be people to actually protect us all at once. Then we can move like that. But that takes a lot of logistics. You've been in the military. You see what it takes to move. It's to hurry up and wait. You got to get up at 5 a.m. to go on a hike at 8. And the commander doesn't show up until 9. But all that's part of the process, bro. But our people we don't have the attention span for that. We have the microwave mentality. I want my hot pocket now. You know what I'm saying? Like that's all part of the problem. And again, it doesn't help that our people aren't practicing the mindset of being sober. Like that means something. That affects your ability to think on a certain level. And that's why in the military, zero toleration. It's zero tolerance for drug use. You will get kicked out immediately. You know what I'm saying? Because they can't have you addicted to drugs and alcohol, and then you go over to a foreign country and they say, hey, bro, I'll give you these drugs and this alcohol if you tell me where all the troops are. And you built up a habit so much that you claim you can quit. You say, all right, yeah, let me smoke this crack a little bit or whatever. They lace your weed with crack now. And you know what I mean? Like our people don't think like that, bro. For some reason, our people don't have any type of militancy whatsoever. And it's disgusting. Wow. Because we used to be a feared warrior-like people. That's how we had the Moorish Empire. When you look up the treaty, when it talks about trading captain for captain, guess who was capturing these European captains? It wasn't no rappers doing it. It was armed men saying, "Yeah, you're not answering to what our sultan wrote to you. All right, yeah, go into this dungeon until your people start responding." Isn't that what they say to you? You don't show up to court. All right, we're kicking in your fucking door, nigger. That's what they do.
And throw you in that dungeon. Yeah.
That's what every nation does. We used to do that. And as a historical reference, look it up. Look up Al-Andalus. All these Moors brag about, Moors and Al-Andalus and 7-Eleven. Okay, look up the city of Cordova. Look at why it fell in a matter of days. Want to know why it fell in a matter of days? Because Moors were so focused on the arts and the science and the ooh and the ah and the poetry and the playing music and the herbs and the medicine that when the military force of the Vandals, the European Romans showed up, there was no one there to defend it. That's why they lost it in a matter of days. Look it up.
Damn.
Look it up. Google it.
Damn.
Not my personal opinion. That's a historical fact. So now when we talk about anything Moorish, if we don't have a way to defend it, guess what? We're going to lose it in a matter of days. That's the truth.
Easily.
Come on, bro. If you're not armed, right, and I break into your house and I say, give me all your fucking socks, guess who's not going to have socks?
No, it's facts. It's
a fact. So, and Jesus talked about that. Jesus said in the Bible that a man who is armed, his goods are safe. It's that simple? Yes, because it's a goddamn deterrent.
And also quoting Jesus also said, think not that I came to bring peace, but yet a sword. Jesus knew what time it was.
he said, I came to slay this peace. Because this peace is like a stagnant water. You know what stagnant water is? It's not active.
Right.
Yep.
So it's
Disease
laden.
ridden.
It's laden with death because y'all niggas are so scared. Talking about peace. Peace where? When these people put, I have never ever, not one time ever met any so-called black person who, when a cop gets behind them, they feel at peace. Not one time. They got their seatbelt on. They just got their driver's license renewed the day before. They just got their license renewed the day before. They just got their license plates renewed the day before. They just got their registration on, their inspection. Everything is fine. They put their blinker on. They stopped, and they still scared. Why? Because we're being goddamn terrorized. That is a problem. I never met anyone that feels safe around these people. That's a problem. Rapping is not going to change that. These crystals are not going to change that. This rhetoric is not going to change that. And think about it, right? When you go to boot camp, right? Before you go to the obstacle course, they take you on the what? Confidence course. Yeah. And then when you reflect on it, the confidence course is the same exact thing as the obstacle course.
Yep.
But they put you through it to make you think, oh, look how easy this is, and then you get confidence enough to do something. Yep. Our people are lacking that confidence, bro. We don't rely on each other. When I trained Moors on how to clear buildings, how to work as a unit, and you know, slow, smooth as fast, and you know, checking your fields of fire, and you know, checking your six, and make sure the person in the back knows what they're doing, make sure the point man knows what he's doing, tapping on each other's shoulders, how to, like, they loved it. And it brought them together on a level that only military people know of, and only the police know about. That's what our people need, bro. I know that you're gonna have my six no matter what. I don't gotta look that way because you're there. We don't have that, bro. That's why we don't have no type of sense of security. Everyone's talking about secure party credits. You ain't even secure in your own life. You ain't even secure in your own mind. You're not even secure with your own brother. What are you talking about? Bro, if the quote unquote apocalypse happens right now, and all you got is papers, and a dude with a gun comes in, he's shooting through that paper, bro. All that food you stored up, and he didn't store up no food, or he got his guns, he's taking it. What are you gonna do about it? Nothing. Yep, here, sir. Here's all my food that I spent all this time and resources on, and yep, it's yours. It's that simple, bro. It's that simple. It's so simple. It's not complicated, bro. I was a Marine. That's you can join the Marines with the lowest ASVAB score on Earth. I think it's like a 32 or something like that.
Yeah.
You can't even get into the Air Force unless you got a 65 or above.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how low the standards are. So if I'm stupid and I can get it, our people can get this shit, bro. All this conscious community stuff, all this woke shit, they can get it. Yep. It ain't hard. It ain't complicated. It's not, oh, this information is so good. It's not complex. Defend yourself and unite with those who are willing to defend themselves, so that way you're stronger, period. When the police show up, and again, this is not an us versus police thing. I'm just using them as an example because our people are so afraid of these people. When they show up, it's never just one of them. Why? Because where there is unity, there is what? Strength.
Told y'all Negroes put them stones back in the ground.
and bullies don't want a fair one, bro. They don't. Wow. Bullies don't want a fair one. So guess what you should do? Make sure it's never fair for them. If there's 20 of them, there should be 20 of you. Does that mean you gotta attack anybody? No, that's not what that means. That means you're not coming over here and just slapping people up. Look, yo, there's a song by Raquel and Sean De Niro. It's one of my favorite songs. I'm pretty sure it's this song. But on the intro of it is Jeff Fort saying, there ain't gonna be no killing without killing. Meaning you're not about to just come over here and do whatever you want, bro. It's not happening. You don't just go to a beehive and start shaking the hive, bro. It ain't happening. They're coming out and they're stinging. No questions asked, bro. And if they die, they die. But that's being fearless. That's, all these Moors talk about, oh, I walk like I got 3,000 ancestors protecting me. Or these Moors saying, I am Allah. Okay, so if you're Allah, what are you so afraid of? If you're Allah's chosen people, this is what it says in the Quran of Muhammad when he was talking to the Jews. He said, if you're God's chosen people and heaven is only for you, why don't you seek death?
Teach.
And then it said, verily, these people will never see death because they're fucking hypocrites. So all these Moors, upright, independent, and fearless, why are you so afraid? And that's where they start going into the intellectual cowardice, the mental gymnastics of trying to act like, well, because see, brother, I just do this consciousness vibe and the ethers protect you. It's bullshit. Why do you physically get up to go to the store and buy food then?
Come on.
Use your mind to manifest the sandwich in front of you without going to the store.
Got
You know
him.
what I'm saying? And it's that simple, bro. It's that simple.
So look, I got a question. 2-part. Gangs, and because you brought up the good brother Chief Fort, Jeff Fort.
Yeah.
What was it about the gangs that made them so organized that we cannot organize under the same manner? And should we also seek to somehow I'm not gonna say have a coalition with groups of gangs, but could we stand to learn organizational tactics from some of the gangs?
Yeah, I mean, look at the military, right? In the Marines, you have your privates, your PFCs, your lance corporals, and then your corporals, right? There's a structure that people recognize and submit themselves to. That's all it is. It's just people saying, okay, this person knows more than me. I'm going to follow them. That's it. The problem with Moors is we're so arrogant. Like, bro, Moors, if you don't know how to protect yourself, just go to my YouTube channel and learn how to do it. I don't want to be in charge of you. Be in charge of yourself. You're a grown-ass fucking man. But for those who need more leadership, okay, I'll help lead you. Just stand with me. That's it. But Moors, I want to be the guy on social media. I want to be like, bro, relax. Yep. That's the problem. You know what I'm saying? And like when you look at brothers like Jeff Fort, he was nationalizing the gangs. You know what I'm saying? Like he was getting them away from being gangs to being a national military. And when you look at Judas and the Black Messiah, that scene with Fred Hampton talking to the Cobra Stones, the Black Panthers were trying to unite with Jeff Fort so that way they had more of an army for their political movement. And that's documented in the FBI COINTELPRO papers. So that's the only thing, bro. The only thing stopping us is our will and our arrogance. We think submission is bad, even though in the Quran that Prophet Noble Jali gave us, it talks about magistrate and subject. Some of us are subjects to each other. And there's nothing wrong with that, bro. Every leader, every great leader is a great follower. There's nothing wrong with that. If you want to learn, you need to follow someone who knows. There's nothing wrong with that. But our people we're so arrogant to the point where we think we're all leaders and then we're incompetent enough to actually lead. So now it's the blind leading the blind. And that's the only problem, bro. Our people have the capacity to do it. If so-called black, right? Black means dead and unconscious, right? If so-called black gangs can do it, why can't we do it? Like what?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
it don't make sense, bro.
That's my point. Yeah,
it doesn't make any sense. It's just it's illogical, and there's a bunch of intellectual cowards, and that's the truth, bro. That's the absolute truth. That's all it is. There's no real like scientific problem wrong with us. Is we're getting in our own way. That's it.
You had referenced the movie, and you've done it several times, but I just wanted you to repeat yourself because you said it a little bit quickly. You were saying something in return in terms of Judas and the Black Messiah, and you were like, yeah, just like in that movie, whatever the case may be. You said somebody was trying to click up in that movie.
Yeah, it was Fred Hampton and the Cobra Stones.
Woo!
Yeah, and so I'm pretty sure the Cobra Stones are different from the Black Stones, but I think Black Stones an actual street in Chicago. I'm not from there. I'm not a street dude at all, but I know a little bit of stuff because I talked to a little bit of people. But that was to symbolize. And remember, when they walked in, it was a whole warehouse full of so-called black armed men, militant.
Right.
And that's not a gang, bro. That's a whole national military right there. If we look at like the different tribes in Africa, that's what that is, bro. So they were uniting the political movement with that, which is what every nation is. They have the politics. Then they have the National Defense Force. So again, when you read the Black Messiah Act, the FBI's goal is to stop absolutely that. And when you go to Senate.gov and you look up the Church Committee of 1975, you'll see where the FBI wrote a letter to Jeff Fort. They say Jeff Fort right in it, and then they said that the Black Panthers put out a hit on his life and they were lying.
Wow.
Yeah, just like they contacted Stokely Carmichael's mother. And they said the Black Panther Party was trying to kill him, and that's why he fled to Africa. They lied. Because they don't want us to unite, bro. Because they already know when our people unite and it's militant and this motherfucker's not afraid to fucking die for their loved ones and stand for their loved ones and fight for their loved ones, it's a wrap for the oppression, bro. It's a wrap. And that's what they don't want.
Damn.
And it's that simple. No amount of rap music you make is gonna get these motherfuckers to stop doing what they're doing. No amount of crystals you have. Again, if the crystals actually worked, well, guess what? They're already in the earth, and guess what? You're standing on it, so you should be protected by it anyway.
Ooh.
If you actually believed in it. But no, it's that's the idol god worship. You think that this rock is going to protect you. Moors will stand up and say, Allah, the Father of the universe, the Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my guide. Allah is my protector. And Allah is my salvation. And then say, oh, look, this rose quartz is protecting me. I thought Allah was protecting you.
Confusion. And I also want to say, because this is one thing that I was saying, because I walked away, but politely got pushed away a little bit from the Moorish side simple, because I came in with more questions than answers. And once I came across the part where it said there are going to be some new Moors like yourself, it's going to come into the temple, push you old Moors to the back. Mm-hmm. Why is there so much I don't know the word I want to use, but so much pushback from a lot of the older Moors? Then why aren't there more progressive Moors? Let me ask that question. Why aren't there more progressive Moors, in your opinion?
So the pushback is because they're holding on to the illusion of power. And the reason why there's no progression is because, like Prophet Noble Ali said, he's not going to put new wine into old skin. That old skin is the old mentality, that slave mentality, or that passive mentality. You can't teach an old dog new tricks. You can't turn a coward into a brave man. You just can't do it. And that's why. That's why. And when you look objectively at the youth are so rebellious because Allah is sending them here to rebel. The problem is they're rebelling against the wrong thing because there's no actual leadership in our community. So the youth are remember, the Prophet said the third and fourth generation. We're the fourth generation. Malcolm was the third. We're the fourth. A generation is 35 years. It hasn't been that long since the Prophet died. It's been 4 generations. So that's what's happening. Allah is sending the necessary spirits that we need to fight and rebel. The problem is there's no guidance. And when they do get guided, they get guided towards the gangs, or they get guided towards the Masonic Lodge, or they get guided like me towards the military, or they get guided towards the corrupt politics. Like, that's the problem. The problem is there's not enough good men doing actual impactful shit. They're too busy rapping. All the good men that claim to be good, they're too busy rapping. And again, some of the brothers make great music. Some of the brothers, I listen to some of the brothers all the time. But when it comes down to action, where you at?
Yeah.
Teach your son how to defend himself, bro. Because when you die, you ain't gonna be there to do it. And what about your daughter? When she grows up and she has to choose a mate, what if he puts hands on her? And you're dead. How's she gonna protect herself? She should be able to rely on her brothers. They can breach and clear her house. Yo, I heard you hit my fucking sister. That's the problem. Like, what are we doing?
So how much of what you're saying and doing going forward, how much should be kept public and how much should be kept private? Because there's the public and the private.
Yeah, what's kept private is kept private. As an example, when we went to train, nobody knew which route we were taking except for me.
Gotcha.
So when Moors are putting out there, oh, there was an FBI agent in the group. How? If I told them not to bring any phones, and I only told a few people to bring phones. Only 3 people brought phones.
Teach.
So how did they know where we were? You know what I'm saying? Like, so again, you already know loose lips sink ships.
Yeah,
I know that. So I have to be the one to gauge, okay, what's public and what's not. And there was nothing that was public that indicated anything illegal or wrong, because we weren't doing anything illegal or wrong. When I was in the Marines and we had training events, the training events was public. What we were doing was private. You know what I'm saying? What we were doing on the ship, that was private, but everybody knew we was on the ship. Hey, loved ones, we got to go on this float. They knew, but they didn't know exactly what we're doing. You get what I'm saying? So just like, in the military, there's different degrees of secret clearances. But this is all supposed to be, all these Moors claiming, I read the Art of War by Sun Tzu. So this is stuff that you should already know then.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But the fact that we were going training and the fact that it was public, that's not wrong. Like, nothing that we did, like, there was nothing that we did from a military perspective that was wrong.
Right.
It's just people without the military mindset and the military training and the logistical know-how, they say it's wrong because they see that the oppressor did something oppressive. So they say, oh, look what happened. They did it wrong. Meanwhile, they're doing nothing. So show us how to do it right then.
On that note, were there certain protocols that were supposed to be followed when passing through state to state that were not adhered to, like notifying the I don't know, maybe I don't know the protocol, the marshals or the sheriff?
There's no protocol. The federal law says you have the right to a peaceful journey. That's what it says. It doesn't say you have to notify nobody. So for the training event that we did in Pawtucket, I notified the Pawtucket Police, which I didn't have to, but that was for safety purposes.
Yeah.
Right. And that video is documented. I gave the police my phone number, said this is where we're going to be. We're armed. We're training. Da 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 da. Video footage of them driving by. No arrest happened. That's just a courtesy saying, hey, I want to make sure that my militiamen are protected. So to do so, since y'all motherfuckers are trigger happy, hey, you might receive calls. I don't know, but most of the time when we actually patrol to our training area, people were looking out the window saying, "Yeah, we feel safe. We love that you guys are doing this." Europeans saying this to me, well, saying this to us. You know what I'm saying? So that was private, but the patrol was public. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You like people, our people, they're so hyper. They criticize so much and they do so little.
Facts.
Show me how to do it better then. And you never will because you're a coward, and that's it. Not you specifically, but those people that have that mindset. And that's cool, bro. If you want to be a coward over there. Don't bring that over here. We're doing our best what we know how. If you know better than you show us how. Like the Quran says, the true mastermind shows you his footprints clearly laid out, shows it to you. A block of wood can just point the way.
Wow.
Don't point the way. Show me. Show us. And you'll see a lot of Moors with zero military background, zero military experience, zero practical application, zero training. They don't know shit about nothing. Talking. What are you talking for?
Right.
And you know that, you already know that type of behavior is not allowed in the military, bro. You already know that.
Right.
Shut the fuck up and do your job.
Yep.
Brother, we are approaching the 2-hour mark. I was going to have us draw this to an end. Before we end this, I wanted you to, on your side, conclude it by giving us your final thoughts, and then after that, tell us who you are and where we can find you at.
I mean, I'm just an oppressed person here on my own homeland trying to make a difference. That's it. And I'm trying to do it the most peaceful way possible, and knowing that these people are never going to adhere to anything peaceful. It's just going to have to be our people coming together, or we're going to stay oppressed, and that's it. You can find me at risingthemoors.org. I'm not advocating for any type of violence. I'm only advocating for self-defense, crime prevention, our own government, our own courts, our own homes, our own land, without paying mortgages, things like that's what I stand for. I'm just a regular guy. I'm not different than anybody else. I was born the same way you were born. I wear pants like you. I was in the same colonial schools like you. I actually went through more indoctrination by going to the Marines. Like, I'm just a regular person. If you think I'm great in any capacity, just know that Allah is greater. I'm only here alive by the grace of Allah, and thankfully, thankful for the men that stood next to me when there was 107 police officers ready to murder us for no goddamn reason. I'm happy that those who stood tall, continue to stand tall, because without that, we're nothing. Without unity, there's no strength. Without unity, we have nothing. And I just hope that Moors are encouraged enough to, at least, if you're not ready to join or create your own militia, then that's fine. But learn the necessary information so that way you can teach someone else who's actually brave enough to defend their family if they need to. And that's it. And if we had that, we'll be all right. And don't let the media trick you out of you standing on what you know is true, bro. It doesn't matter what these people. And this is why worship of Allah alone is important. Don't worship the opinion of other people. Worship the opinion of Allah. If Allah told you to defend yourself, well, then guess what you do to the best of your ability. If the circumstances fit, you defend yourself to the best of your ability. Don't go out and be unnecessarily hostile. Don't go out and cause trouble. It's just if it's time to defend yourself, then do so. If somebody gets hurt and you feel like you're obligated to stand up and defend them, well, then do so. And there's nothing wrong with that. And when it comes to us meeting our maker, then that's what actually matters. But us here on this earth, we can actually change the conditions that we're in. And it's not hard to do it. There was 3,000 Moors in Chicago alone. And with that, they were able to have Oscar the Priest and Louis B. Anderson in office, making changes for the Moors. They had their own Moorish bank, the Jesse Bingham Bank. Like, we can make change, bro. We can actually do it. We just have to actually focus on making the change, not just saying the same old rhetoric. I'm a Moor and I live by the 5 principles. Okay, so actually we live by them. When you read the divine warning by the prophet for the nations, the first 7 words that he used proves that we're supposed to have our own government. When we read the Moorish 101s, he asked, what do we call our ruler in Morocco? The answer is Sultan. Where's our Sultan at? We need to start taking steps to actually change this. Prophet Noble Jali said Chicago is going to be our Mecca, which means right now it's not. So what do we need to do to change that? And it starts by national defense. It starts with national defense. And once you become nationalized, now it's your civic duty to help defend your nation. That is part of civics. If you're a Moorish American, you believe in a Moorish free national government, well, guess what that government is supposed to have? National defense. And that is your job. That is my job. Our job. Not just one person, not just 11 people. And if you're not doing your job, well, then you need to fucking change. And it's going to be brothers like me and the brothers that stood with me to continue to promote that. If you're a sucker, you're a sucker. You need to change, bro. We're depending on you just like you're dependent on us. So if there's 107 dudes ready to kill me, I expect 107 of my people to say, hey, no, bro, that's not happening. You ain't doing that around here. That's what we need. And if we don't have that, we're going to stay in the same conditions. And I know I repeated myself the same throughout this entire video, but that is the truth. The truth doesn't change, it doesn't fade, and it doesn't pass away.
There you have it, family. There you have it. Rise of the Moors. I want to just hammer this point home. Go. This is a soldier. This is an order, and I'm just keeping it light. But yeah, riseofthemoors.org. Family, it is a treasure trove. In addition to that, Rise of the Moors on YouTube. Again, another source and wealth of information. I want to pass the mic. You know, it's not about me, it's about us. M.O.I, can you give us your final thoughts, please? Unmute your mic, brother, please.
This is one of the things that I expressed before upon my so-called attack by the Moors. I'm not gonna say Moors put everybody together, because there are some good brothers out there. But to anybody on the sound of my voice, I definitely encourage everybody to unite, continue to work together. If we have any differences or disagreements, let's handle that shit in private. You don't see Caucasians, you know what I'm saying, fisticuffs and disrespect to one another in the public forum. They talk shit in private, but in the public, they stand together. Even if it's a lie, they stand together in the public. And that's something that we need to be mirroring one another, is to stand shoulder to shoulder with one another in public and try to agree upon something. I think it was great for the brother to come on here. Crumb, thank you for having me on here. I appreciate it. Definitely, I'm about to go binge on his network right now and find out everything the brother's been talking about. They did give us the illusion that what they were doing were wrong, and you know how Caucasians tend to use words of art. But you heard it from the horse's mouth right here on Crumb TV, man. And that's it, brother. Peace and love. Thank you. Appreciate it.
I just wanted to correct M.O.I slightly. It's respectfully, it's not Crumb TV anymore. Back in the day it was, but it's not anymore. What you're seeing is a network. We've got more than 300 people watching. We were on Crumb TV. We were on Moroccan Post Media, Minister, the Minister, parentheses M.O.I, Our Black Empowerment, American Healer, of course, my Facebook page, the Information Age Facebook group. Family, we are operating in unity. We're operating in solidarity. If you see me and you might not see nobody else, oh, they with me. You see M.O.I and you might not see we with him. You see any of the brothers, you know, you talk to him, you talking to me. You know, you talking to me, family. This ain't nothing that other thing where we disagree and tear each other down and debate. Nah, that day is over. I'm not going to say any names, but there's a YouTube channel that I'm going against that is propagating division, and versus us saying names, we're going to propagate unity. And that's kind of what I wanted to close on. I wanted to remind you guys, if you could, on any of the channels that you are watching this on right now, number one, hit the like button. It's easy, it's free, it takes a second, it's only one click, it works for the algorithm. So many good things comes out of that. But also, you know, you might want to take it a step further. Hit that subscribe button. I don't care where you're watching this at. It doesn't matter. Hit the subscribe button there. So, you know, with that said, y'all know how I do. I want to leave you the exact same way I came to you. I am your humble brother Crumb, and you are now watching Crumb TV, Chicago. Peace.
Hey, you are now watching Crumb TV. Crumb TV.
Hey, we in Chicago, y'all, and y'all watching Crumb TV.
It's your brother, Tim Buck 2, I say.
You are now watching Crumb TV.
You in Chi-Town finest, you hear me? Inglewood, always up to no good. Man, I'm telling my brother Crumb. You're watching Crumb TV. I'm your humble brother, and you are watching Crumb TV. Reporting live from the Wild Hunters, Southside Chicago.
And you now watching Crumb TV.
And you're watching Crumb TV.
Crumb TV, baby. Hey.
Crumb.